I'm Dr. Deb Butler, and you are listening to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is episode number 389.
Welcome to Thinner Peace in Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. If you're a woman and you're smart and you're successful and you've been struggling with weight your whole life, and now menopause is making it harder than ever, and you are ready to make this the last time you ever have to go on a diet again, then this podcast is for you. Stay tuned.
Well, hello all, my dear friends all over the world. How are you today? I was thinking about you this weekend and what I really would like to talk about that might help you in the upcoming week. We're in September, and I don't know about you, but going from August to September, it feels like I have stuff I need to do that I didn't feel like I needed to have to do in August. So when I had a young child, of course, that's when school started. But it's also what happens to you in your mind when summer is over. Because I was thinking about what's going on in my mind now that summer is over and fall is starting to come, and what's different about it for you. For me, it just feels like not as relaxing. I don't feel as relaxed. I don't know why. I don't know, but what do you think? How are you feeling going from August to September? So as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about how can I help you, as I'm helping myself, go into fall and leave summer, and how you want to think about it and how you want to take care of yourself. So one of the things that I did that you may or may not know about is that I created a 3-day course starting September 25th for 3 days. I'm actually going to spend an hour a day with you for 3 days and get your brain lined up again for fall, for whatever it is that you need some tinkering with. So for 3 days, we're going to talk about your menopausal brain and how we can get it going and get it aligned so that what you put in your mouth is better for you so you can start losing weight. Now, losing weight isn't all about the food as much as it is all about what you're thinking and what's going on in your mind. And I'm thinking like what happens in your mind in September is very different than what's going on in August. I don't know why I think that. Are you thinking that too? Anyway, I created this course, and if you haven't signed up for it already, it's very inexpensive, but it will get your brain going again and get it lined up with what you want, which let's say it's weight loss, and how to make amends with being in menopause and thinking that it's too late or thinking that you can't lose weight because you're in menopause. Because I have news for you, you can. Not only that, you can make this the last time that you ever have to lose weight again because you're in menopause. And I go through all of that in this course as to how to get your brain on board. So I call it Jumpstart Your Brain because let's just give it a little nudge. So if you're interested in doing that, you can go to drdebbutler.com/jump and sign up before the doors close or before it fills up. Don't wait until the last minute. Now, as I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking like, how can I help you take that leap, either to sign up for this course with me so that we can get your brain aligned and get you moving again, or maybe you just need to be inspired. So one of the things that I was thinking about today is I wanted to play you one of my recordings that I did with one of my clients. Her name was Renee. And she even sent me a letter in this last year just telling me how well she's doing and how grateful she is for being able to work with me because she was in menopause. She wasn't enjoying her life and she was eating way too much and she didn't get it. But after we got through working together, she got it. she got her brain going again. If that's what you want, what I suggest is that I've actually included that interview that I did with her because I think she is really, really inspiring. And what's even inspiring about her that I think you'll like in the interview is that not only did she lose a lot of weight, but she found how to get joy back in her life without using food. And that is really what I want for all of you. So here's two things that you can do today. Number one, you can go to drdebbutler.com/jump, sign up for this course so that you can get what Renee already got, a little bit more joy and a lot less weight by getting that mind of yours going in the right direction. And you can stay right where you are right now, taking a bath, walking, driving, and listen to this inspiring interview that I did with Renee about how she found joy and lost her weight. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll talk to you next week. And of course, since this is my ending, I would never end without saying to you, no matter where you go and whatever you do, please, please, please be very, very kind to yourself and enjoy this interview with Renee.
Hi, Renee. Welcome to my podcast.
Dr. Deb, it's so good to see you.
Yeah, and really, for people who don't know how I work, I really don't work on video. We really work just on the phone. So this is kind of like our first hello face-to-face. It's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, after this many months, you have a kind of a vision of your mind, what somebody looks like in their presence. And yeah, it's nice to see you.
Yes. Okay, so let's get right down to it because I've been doing these podcasts for 5 years now. And what I find has been most helpful for people who are listening is probably the experience of my other clients. Like what really went on? Is it as good as she says it is when I say that? Or, what I want you to do is I want you to tell the truth because I want everybody to know, are you being paid for this? Am I paying you any money for this?
No.
Okay. Just let's all be clear. And am I telling you what to say? Did they tell you before we got on here what to say?
No.
Okay. All right. So this is just a real interview. I don't know what's going to come out of your mouth, but I'm welcoming whatever it is because I want it to be a true experience for the people who are listening so they get a clear idea of what it's like from your perspective. Okay. So here's my first question. What made you decide to do a mini session?
I had been listening to your podcast for a bit. I had actually stumbled across it probably 4 years ago and was listening for a while and hadn't even thought about doing a mini session then.
Why is that? Tell me. So you started like 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, I offered it then.
Yeah, I think that I just had other things going on in my life and I just wasn't ready for it at the time. But menopause definitely has kicked in and I had gained quite a bit during the pandemic. And I was just getting very frustrated with feeling like I wasn't in the body that I want to be in and have tried several different diets and journaling and such, and it just wasn't clicking for me. So I listened to you again and thought this has got to be the ticket because I've been successful with weight loss before, but I've always put it back on. And I think I just never got to the bottom of why I eat when I'm not hungry.
So tell me, because there's probably a lot of people like you who are listening who aren't thinking of doing a mini session. They're not ready. And for those people, when you're ready, just like you, 4 or 5 years ago, you were listening, maybe made a little bit of sense, but not ready.
Yes.
So then did you start listening again, or had you been listening the whole time, or did you just go, how did that work that you went from listening and not wanting to do a mini session? And then did you just start listening again, or had you been listening the whole time, or?
No, I hadn't been listening for quite a while. And I must have searched for something about weight loss and menopause. And I recognized your face on your site on the app that I was using. And I I'm going to listen to a few of these. So
So, what the second time around when you were listening, you kind of said it, but what made you click on the mini session?
I thought, let's give it a try and see what this is going to be like.
You
And
were ready.
I was ready. Yes.
And I think what I heard you say, because there's probably a lot of people like this, is maybe you weren't sick to death of it yet 4 years ago. Maybe you just thought, like, oh, I can do this or I can figure it out. And then maybe by this time, had you just decided that I need help?
I decided I need help, and what I had been doing wasn't working, and I kept seeing my weight go up pretty significantly from even 4 years ago.
Mm.
So I knew that it had more of a mental and emotional component than just what I'm eating.
Ah, okay. So probably the scale motivated you.
Yes.
That happens with a lot of people. It's like, we'll get on the phone and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, the scale. Oh, I've never seen this number before.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we did the mini session and you said yes. So
It took a
what?
couple of days. Yes.
It
I
took
was
a couple of
interested.
days.
Yeah.
What took a couple of days? What was it?
For me to decide whether or not I was going to invest in it. And boy, I'm glad I did. It's
So I
worth
think
every
that's
penny.
good too, because I don't give you much time to make a decision, just for
No.
everybody that's listening. I don't give you very much time. So when you were thinking about it and deciding if you were going to make the investment, what did your brain say that said yes?
I think I just said, I'm ready to do something different and I deserve this. And I'm investing in myself and my future.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, it really is. I don't think I've ever done anything like this. So it's been really a great experience.
Wonderful. So it's good for everybody to know, even though we're just getting into the podcast, that it's been
Yes.
a great experience. And it's been a great experience for me working with you. And the reason that is for me is because there is nothing that I told you or asked you to do that you wouldn't or didn't do.
Correct. Yes.
You did everything I said. Let's just put it that way. Why did you decide to do everything that I told you to do? Because not everything I said was easy.
No, it wasn't. Part of it was, just making that financial investment. And I think just mentally ready to do it. And, I was very busy. It's the height of the second wave of a pretty significant pandemic, and I work in healthcare. And I could think of every excuse of why I didn't want to do it at the time. But I just finally told myself that I'm strong and I can do this. And I'm so glad I did. So,
I love that. I want everybody to hear that before you started working with me, that you had the wherewithal to back yourself up like that to get you to do this. Because there's a lot of people that I think want to work with me, but they let so many things stand in their way, like the investment, the money, how busy they are. And with you, I just want to say, if you want to say like what you do in the health field, if you want to just tell everybody like
I'm
what
a
you
nurse
do.
practitioner and I work in an urgent care setting. So we've had quite a difficult couple of years.
Yes. And also that you're working on a degree in school.
Yes. I'm working on my doctoral degree.
And she's working on her doctorate degree in the middle of all of this and decided to invest in herself to make sure, and I'm just putting words in your mouth, but this is the way that I see it, to make what you're already doing in your life, make it even better and more meaningful.
Yes. I have so much more energy and focus through doing this program. It's really just become part of my daily life. And I don't feel overwhelmed with everything that's going on in my life anymore. I think part of that is just an awareness.
Yeah, because I would say the first few calls that we had, the beginning of the call was always, I'm so busy. I've got so much to do, and work is busy and all the reasons of why you couldn't eat
Yes.
I
Or
mean,
why I couldn't eat or why I was eating throughout the day and not paying attention to what was going in. So, yeah.
and evenings, just kind of to preface this whole thing, your evenings, that was filled in the beginning with a lot of non aware joy eating. And that's where a lot of our work really came in,
Yes.
were the evenings. And I like to talk about the evenings because I would say mostly 80% of everybody has that problem with the nighttime, the evening. So you're a busy woman. And I think that it's like you work during the day. And I think you were working on your doctorate at night doing you were always doing something and usually at night. So your evenings have changed so drastically from my end in terms of what you do or what you put in your mouth. I'd like you to maybe talk about that a little bit because everybody will go, that's me. They're going to resonate with what you say and how you helped yourself.
It didn't happen right away.
It didn't.
Probably,
Tell
no,
everybody
it
that.
didn't.
Tell everybody that
And
didn't happen overnight.
didn't happen. It probably took at least a month before I started looking at specifically what was going on in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe that the emotional brain takes precedence more as we're tired in the evening and trying to process what's going on in the day. And that oftentimes will lead to emotional eating because we don't want to look at how we're feeling. So part of it was that. I think some of it was habits.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm no longer there. Part of it was just really committing to writing down everything that I ate, but it is more than that. Now, when I eat or when I think about eating and I'm not actually hungry, I'll ask myself, well, what's going on? And it'll just give that little pause in my mind. And usually the urge to eat something that wasn't planned is kind of goes away after that.
You say it so easily. And I want everybody to know that when you talk about really the first 4 weeks, and I want everybody to hear this, was really about just seeing what's going on,
Yes.
right? You being committed to write down everything that you ate and everything that you ate, probably you didn't want to write down, my guess is, right?
Right. Yes. I
You didn't want to
remember
see it.
Yeah, I remember you clicking on, I put everything on a spreadsheet and
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, it was a
further,
spreadsheet.
and I did it week by week by tabs. And one week you looked at one of my first weeks thinking that it was that week and you're like, this is different. But it is really interesting to look back and see how things have changed.
It really is. And when you change the way that you eat, like you have over the course of time, really to go back and look at these food journals, it's going back and like looking at journaling, at your writing, at your thoughts. It's about what you're putting in your mouth. And at the same time, the progress and the process that you've had of the way your food journals look in the evening now, which is more eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're full kind of a thing. And
Yes.
actually going to sleep when you're tired, for instance, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That is such a fascinating process to watch from my end, and probably from your end too, if you can remember that you were using food for so many things in the evening, kind of like how to get through the evening and to reward yourself in the evening for such a hard day.
Yes.
And so since you're not, how does that work for you now that you're not using food to get through the evening? You're still getting through the evening.
Still get through the evening. Just an example, just 2 days ago, I had a very busy day at work.
Quote, unquote.
Yes. And I was thinking back, it wasn't that long ago, 5 months ago, that I would have come home and the first thing I would have done was open the refrigerator to try to, I guess, take out my frustration. And instead, when I got out of the car, I didn't even go into the house for about 45 minutes. I decided to do some gardening. Food wasn't even on my mind at the time. And I felt so much more clear and kind of refreshed after having a tough day by doing something else. So I found other ways to really nourish myself emotionally rather than looking to food.
Right. And that is not, I want everybody to realize it's not like trying to distract yourself either. I mean, there's a difference between, I think I'll garden instead of eat, but it's more like your mind talks to you in a different way. And you want to say something about that because to do that, It's a mind change.
Absolutely. Yes. But it happened kind of so, I'm not going to say organically because it certainly took a lot of work, but it's just that drive to always be looking for food is gone. Other than when I'm hungry, I still enjoy eating, but I'm finding that my life is more rich and I'm happier
Yeah,
because
let's say
I'm
something about
not
that.
hungry.
Yeah, I want you to say something about that because in the beginning, I think basically what you told me is that you just weren't happy and that you didn't have any joy.
I didn't
And
have any joy. And I remember you asking me when I felt, or what were my signals when I felt hungry. And I remember telling you, I never feel hungry. I'm always bloated. And it's because I was eating too much. I had really lost that connection with my body to know when my physical hunger was talking to me.
how come you didn't quit?
There were a couple of times where I
Yeah.
was, thinking, geez, I don't know if I can do this.
Uh-huh.
Part of it was certainly the commitment that I made financially and mostly to myself. After about a month, I started seeing the weight come off and I started exercising more and I just felt so much better physically and emotionally. It wouldn't have really made sense to walk away.
So, do you remember anything that actually happened where you thought you couldn't do it anymore? Do you remember an incident or something that might have happened in those first 4 weeks?
I don't think so, actually. I was pretty set on trying to follow
Or
this all through. Yeah.
you were. What was the fine line between I'm not sure I can do this to, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do this? Or I know from hoping it might work to knowing it would work.
Just doing the assignments that I was given each week and really paying attention to what was changing in my body, in my mind,
Yes.
in my actions.
Yes.
Those little things motivated me to keep working, and it's still motivating me to keep working.
I love that. And we did an urge worksheet, right?
Mhm.
And can you say, because a lot of people don't understand urges a lot when they hear the podcast, and we do a lot of work with urges when we're working individually like this. Can you say something about, because what you said is you don't have very many urges now.
Not as many. I still occasionally, yes, but not nearly as many.
Okay. So you still have urges. How do you handle them now when you
Well,
have them?
I ask myself what's going on. And usually that's enough to just give me that little pause and kind of reframe, uh, just decide that, look, it's not on the menu or I'm not hungry.
So you might have a thought that creates an urge, like the lemon tart things or the
Lemon
one
tart,
of,
yes.
what is it?
Lemon tart,
Yeah,
yes.
lemon tart. You said that you love those and you didn't know about those. If you could be mindful about them.
Uh-huh.
So how do you handle, excuse me, how do you handle that? What's the thought that would create the urge to want to eat it? And then what is the managing thought that you use after you've thought about it for a minute that you use instead to eat it or not eat it? But when, if it's an
Yes.
urge and you're not planning on eating it.
Well, the thought that makes me want to eat it when it's not on my plan, is that
Yep.
what you're
Uh-huh.
asking?
Uh-huh. Like let's just say it's out there or you see
Yeah.
it or somebody's eating it.
Oh, well, it would be a mixture of desire and
Mhm.
also shaming myself to even wanting it. There was a lot of self shaming that you shouldn't want this. There was a negative talk that went around eating things that, were our joy foods.
Ah,
That was tough to look at because I was eating things thinking that I was enjoying them. And I don't know if I really was because there were so many negative thoughts going all around me when I was eating it afterwards, especially afterwards. And now I did have a lemon tart not that long ago, and I purposely went to a bakery and bought it, and I waited and I shared it with my partner, and we enjoyed it. I tasted each bite, and really, it's about 4 bites in, and that's actually was enough. I didn't need to finish it.
And you enjoyed it?
I did. It
Uh-huh.
was very good. And I didn't allow myself to go down some, negative thoughts or anxiety about it or anything. So just said it's food and it was tasty and, now what's next? Yeah.
That's a beautiful success story right there for somebody who loves, and everybody out there has something that they love that they just think they can't eat if they're going to lose weight or whatever it is, or there's something wrong with them. What you say is, and I think what causes the biggest problem is the talk that you have around something that you think you love to eat that you can't eat. You can't have it. It doesn't make you not eat it. It just makes you feel bad while you're eating it.
Yeah. Just this, all that negative talk around food
I
was,
think that's very interesting. I think everybody has it and doesn't realize it, that it's very hard to really enjoy what we call a joy eat, a non-nutritious food that tastes really, really good, when your brain is telling you you shouldn't be eating it.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah. And so you're saying, oh, but I had it and I know I could eat it.
I
And I
could eat
really
it.
enjoyed it and didn't need a lot of it.
I did not. And I know for sure that going on a trip soon, and I
Yeah.
know for sure that we'll plan some joy eats, but it's not the center of my day or what I'm really looking forward to anymore.
It's a big thing for you, Renee. And the other thing I think for you that I want people to hear about is I just don't feel like you had this joy of living, this joy of life. And we did a lot of work on the model and on mind management. And I wanted to help you see your same circumstances in a way to help you change your perception about how you were seeing your life. I would like you just to say a little bit about that because your life is pretty much the same. It's not like anything changed,
Oh,
since we started working. I mean, circumstantially, the same job, the same, you're still working on your PhD, same partner, same people in your life. I mean, if they're watching this video, they're going to see the smile on your face and the joy in your voice. And it wasn't there before. And we talked
wow.
about eating, but I always say it's not about the food, but it's all about the food.
This is emotional, mental, and spiritual work. That's all I can say is it's what I needed to make changes in myself and how I'm living to, I really feel hopeful about my future. I'm, not that there's no frustrations, that's life,
Right.
but I feel more able to deal with them. And I notice when I need to do a model about some negative thoughts, or doubts about something. And that really does seem to work for me well.
Yeah. So what you're talking about, because people may not know, the model is just something that I teach you on how to break down any problem into 5 components: circumstance triggers thoughts, thoughts trigger feelings, feelings cause actions, and actions create results. And there's a way to do that. And if you're diligent, as Renee has been, and learned how to do it, you can put down and see why you're feeling the way you're feeling about anything. And, when you're having negative emotion, it's only because you're thinking something. It's not because of your circumstance. It's not because of your work. It's not because of your partner. It's not because of any of that. It's always because of your perception of what's going on. And you were so diligent about doing that work. So when you're talking about it now, I want people to know that you just did what I told you to do and you practiced. And you can see the same life that you have in a totally different light if you do this work. Do you agree with me?
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
I feel like
amazing.
somebody put a new filter on in front of my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a new filter. Your eyes, your vision almost changes, even though you're seeing the same thing, you're not perceiving it in the same way. Truly, for you, that's what I saw. So, my last question is this: what would you say to anybody who's listening to this podcast who felt just like you felt? They were not happy, they're not enjoying their life, not happy with their bodies, believing they can't control themselves around food, and thinking that if they have never been able to do it before, why would they be able to do it now? Pretty much
Yes.
where you were.
Well, I would say that just telling yourself that you can't control yourself around food and that you're going to be a failure is one of the things that's probably stopping you from making changes that will actually make a difference for you. I strongly encourage you to think about doing a mini session and participate in the program. I've been listening to your podcast now most days, actually.
Yeah.
I've almost caught up through all of your 5 years of recording. Yay! But you give a lot of tools throughout your podcast. But for me, I need that individual attention and coaching. That's what made the difference for me.
Wow. Would you say that this has been not only because you've lost quite a bit of weight?
Yes. Now I'm down to 25 pounds.
25 pounds.
Yes.
25
Yeah.
pounds. That's a big number. And that is very cool. But would you say that this program and process that you did with me was life changing, not just body changing, but life changing?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, my outlook is different. And I feel like I'm in touch with who I am and that I have tools that will help me manage any situation that comes up in my life, whether it's positive or negative. I no longer want to feel numb by overeating. I want to experience life. That's what's changed.
Wow. So you want to experience life and you're experiencing it in a totally different way. Same life, new mind, new body.
Yeah.
Renee, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I loved every minute of working with you.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Dr. Deb.
If you're loving my podcast and you would like some more information to be able to follow along with, then please go to drdebbutler.com/change and you can get a free copy of my companion book that goes with this podcast that I refer to in many different episodes. That is drdebbutler.com/change. CHANGE.